For the second time in the last 3 days, for reasons that are, again, unbeknownst to me, the microphone that I have been using for the better part of 2-ish weeks, I believe has not connected with my laptop. I spent about 10 minutes sitting in the right field arcade just now, trying to get it to connect, ultimately to no avail. So beginning tomorrow, we're going to go back to the Yeti microphone that I was using all throughout spring training. It obviously is a lot bigger compared to the microphone that I had been using, but dependability is going to be the deciding factor that wins the day there, so to say. But the San Francisco Giants fall to the Arizona Diamondbacks 2-1 here on Monday at Oracle Park. And as you might imagine, this is only the second most important game happening in San Francisco. The first being the Golden State Warriors game against the Minnesota Timberwolves over there across the water. As always, you can check out the Joseph Dykes-led Warriors coverage as the Warriors fall to the Timberwolves, go down 3-1 in that series. And the story of today's Giants game, as it has been on many other occasions over the course of this young season, has been Justin Verlander still searching for his first win as a San Francisco Giant. And as has been the case in many of his previous starts, Verlander definitely pitched well enough to earn himself a victory tonight. Pitched 6 innings, allowed just the 2 runs. Granted, both of those 2 runs coming on solo homers by Corbin Carroll, the young star of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And if you're looking for an early candidate for NL MVP, look no further than Carroll, who, and I'm not going to base it entirely on WAR, but he's right there up there with Fernando Tatis Jr. at the top of the WAR leaderboards. But going back to Verlander, again, pitched well enough to get his first win of the year. And as has been the case on, by my count, 3 other occasions, or actually 2 other occasions, the Giants just did not get Verlander enough run support. The only run that they were able to scratch across was from an RBI single from Christian Koss against Merrill Kelly, who pitched 7 innings, allowed just the 1 earned run. Kelly entering this game having had an ERA in the low 3s against the San Francisco Giants over the course of 90 career starts. That ERA obviously lowering given the effort that he had tonight. And there's been a lot of different ways that Verlander has ended up without a win. On 3 occasions, the outing against the Angels, the outing against the Rockies, and there's one more, his recent outing against the Chicago Cubs. Obviously, I was there for that road trip. On those 3 occasions, Verlander exited the ballgame with the Giants winning, but the bullpen ultimately wasn't able to hold the lead. The most glaring example of this was when Ryan Walker blew the save against the Los Angeles Angels. And then there's also been, as I mentioned, the 2 occasions where Verlander has pitched well tonight against the Diamondbacks, as well as a couple of weeks ago against the Rangers, where his offense just didn't get him enough run support. Then there was also the start against the Philadelphia Phillies, where manager Bob Melvin elected to keep Verlander in just what ended up being a little bit too long, and the end result being Verlander gets saddled not just with a no decision, but with a loss in that game. So Verlander is now 9 starts into the season without a win, the longest streak of his career. Previously, the longest winless streak had been 7 in both 2024 as well as 2015. And as things are positioned right now, his next start would be against the team that was formerly known as the Oakland A's, who have quite the formidable offense, one that's led by Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, Shea Langoliers, Nicholas Kurtz, Jacob Wilson. So not exactly the easiest offense in the world to have to navigate, but it will represent the first Battle of the Bay? I don't know what we're calling it now. I've personally been partial to calling it the Carquinez Bridge series, the I-80 series, but I'm sure we'll figure out an appropriate name for it sometime soon. Before the game even started, we got some pretty significant, well, it's not necessarily news, but manager Bob Melvin elected to shake up his lineup in a really major way for the first time this season. Prior to today, the only time that he had really changed up his lineup in any significant way was when he had Mike Yastrzemski added to the leadoff spot and dropped Lamont Wade Jr. to, I believe it was either the 5 or the 6 spot when the Giants were in New York against the Yankees. But today represented a pretty significant lineup change. I'll read to you the lineup as follows. Mike Yastrzemski still in the leadoff position, but Matt Chapman hitting second. Previously, he'd only hit in the 4 spot. He hit one time in the 5 spot as well. Elliot Ramos jumps up from that 5-6 spot to the 3 spot. Jung-Hoo Lee had hit third exclusively in all of the 38 games that he had started, he moved down to the cleanup spot. Wilmer Flores remained in that 5 spot, but he started at first base rather, for just the second time this season. And Willy Adames, who had hit exclusively in the 2nd spot this season with the Giants, moved down to the 6th spot. And I had a story run pregame that kind of detailed some of the rationale as to why these moves were made. And you will notice that LaMonte Wade Jr. was not in the starting lineup. That was just a regularly scheduled day off for him. And again, there's some analysis in the aforementioned story regarding Wade. But one thing that is worth noting with Wade in particular is, again, I don't think it's any shock that he's really been grinding at the plate, and Melvin discussed him grinding at the plate and having to deal with some of the frustrations of having some hard hit balls that aren't finding dirt or grass or whatever it may be, just all of these line drives that are kind of finding gloves. And Wade didn't record a single hit over the course of the Giants' last 3 games against the Minnesota Twins. And one thing to kind of keep note of going forward is Wade is going to remain the Giants' starting first baseman for now, but Gerard Encarnacion did begin a rehab assignment with AAA Sacramento this past weekend. He's going to get the majority of his reps at first base, considering the Giants want to keep Wilmer Flores in the designated hitter spot in an effort to keep him healthy. And so Wade is going to have a runway here of until March 26th. It's March 13th or March 12th rather today. So a little less than 2 weeks until Encarnacion is eligible to return from the injured list. And this isn't me saying that Encarnacion is going to instantly slot into the starting lineup over Wade, but if Encarnacion, who I've read about this in spring training, has tremendous power, tremendous average exit velocities and barrel rates and things of that nature, if Encarnacion is swinging the bat well and Wade isn't able to dig himself out of this early season hole that he's been in, the Giants might find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to prioritize Encarnacion's bat, given how much Wade has struggled in the first 8 or so weeks of the season. And again, there's no guarantee that would happen. A lot can happen over the course of the next week and a half. Wade could realistically find his swing, whereas Encarnacion might play enough games to be healthy to come off the injured list, but may not be effective as a bat instantly. So that's one of the things that we'll just kind of have to wait and see on. And again, we still have about a week and a half, 12 days or whatever it is, that Encarnacion is even eligible to return from the injured list.